or by the time this video comes out, good afternoon, bon pomeriggio, and welcome to this week's transfer video. Monday! Happy Monday, people! And we do actually have a game to preview as well, as Newcastle are right back in action tomorrow night away to Aston Villa. But everyone's talking about transfers for the last few days. Some of you will be pleased with that as the window shuts on Thursday. A new fresh name linked to the Toon today, quickly rebuffed by Eddie Howe in his press conference. We'll also talk about that, obviously what Howe has mentioned in today's presser. Loads to get into. Player exits potentially on the horizon as well, as there's only a few days left until Thursday's deadline. But more importantly, tomorrow's Saudi deadline. Will that see one of our starting 11 move before that window shuts? Before we do get into all of the topics on today's video, please do like and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Let's do it then. Miggy to Saudi. Let's start off with that one before we talk about the Ramsey stuff. Miggy to Saudi. That's the one that's on everyone's lips, most importantly because if we were to sign Ramsey, or anybody, we would have to sell somebody. Eddie Howe has said that in the press conference today. We will not be buying anyone unless we sell anyone. So what we're trying to do, what you think, the owners who flew into London at the end of last week, all of these meetings that have been taking place at Newcastle, they know, FFP, we have to sell to be able to buy. And if we were to sell an Almiron for £30 million, which has been linked to Al-Shabaab, then that would pave us lots of money to invest in the squad because that'd be spread out across 5 years, so 100 odd million, and we could reinvest that into potentially a Ramsey, who we'll talk about soon. But focusing on potential sales to fuel the funds for an incomings, will Almiron be leaving? That's the question that everyone wants to answer to, because obviously he didn't travel to Fulham on Saturday night. Howe reiterated that he was ill and his wife was on Instagram in face masks and stuff, and Miggy was pictured at the RVI on Friday with a member of staff. Still no clarity on what that was. Eddie Howe has said that he hopes Miggy will be available for the trip to Villa. He will be training today, he said, so he's quickly got over that illness, to be fair, whatever it was. But he's over the illness now, he will be training today, and he hopes to have him available for Tuesday's trip to Villa. Very interesting, that. And by the way, by the time that the Villa game comes around tomorrow night, on what is it, at 8:15 kickoff or something like that, the window will be shut over there in Saudi Arabia, so we will have an answer to the Almiron saga one way or the other, and that could really be it. If he doesn't go, then we could still get someone on a loan with that obligation to buy in the summer type of thing, but obviously we'll know whether Almiron stays or goes if he's pictured at Villa Park tomorrow night, or by tomorrow afternoon. Now, within the next 24 hours, we should know whether Almiron is staying on Tyneside or on a jet to Saudi. Interesting stuff. Keep an eye peeled on that one. Me personally, I think he could definitely still leave. I really do. I'm not buying the illness thing from the other day. I think he's still available. Obviously, they're just trying to persuade him to go to Saudi. That's my view on it. Just my humble opinion. Could be totally wrong. Just what I think. I think he's available for sale. I think he could be sold. But at the end of the day, if Almiron doesn't want to go, and it doesn't look like it's good timing if his wife is ill with the face masks on and everything, then it could really scupper all of those deals. But health way more important than anyway. So we'll see what happens, and Almiron is the one to watch really for Newcastle to be making some transfer funds in the last couple of days of the window. On the other hand, a player that's been massively linked away as well is captain Jamal Lascelles. Everyone in Turkey has been reporting for a week now that he's on the verge of joining Besiktas. He was also conveniently injured on Saturday night. Not involved in that trip to Fulham. Very strange that, isn't it, really? Because he's been on the bench the last couple of games when Botman's been back. He's played non-stop since Botman was injured, and now all of a sudden he's injured, and Eddie Howe says, well, he might be available tomorrow, he might not, it's nothing serious. AKA, he might get a transfer, he might not. That's my view of it, you know what I mean? You can say and have your thoughts, let us know in the comments. I'm just on that side of, that's way too convenient that the two players linked to move aren't available. Obviously, Wilson's another one, but he's been injured, and I don't think Wilson will leave because we just can't replace him. We can't replace him this window. Lascelles, though, with his contract ending soon, I think they'll try and cash in on that, get a bit of wages going. There was even reports this morning that we were going to let him go for free just to get those wages freed up. So, I don't know about that, but I honestly think in the next few days, Almiron and Lascelles could both be sold. And that would pave the way for the well-needed recruitment of a midfielder. And today's link to a new midfielder is not a number 6. Don't get excited. No defensive midfielders getting signed around here. According to these reports by The Athletic, that Newcastle United have made an approach to sign Jacob Ramsey, who, as we know, is a centre midfielder, more of an attacking midfielder, box to box, makes them runs. scores. He had a brilliant goal scoring run last season, only 1 goal in 10 this year, but he's a brilliant midfielder. This would be a phenomenal signing for me. It really would be a terrific, honestly, under 21 international. Him and Miley could be future England midfielders together in the middle of the park there for the Three Lions, but I would be very surprised if we got this one done. Aston Villa are willing to listen to offers of 50 million and above, so we would obviously have to get that sale of Miggy done, but 50 million and above, because Villa as well, it's not just us with FFP, even though all the money Aston Villa made off the Grealish deal, they also need to cut their costs by June, so they need to sell someone, like a Ramsey, sell someone else. Obviously their young forward, that Duran, is linked to Chelsea, so that could help them, but they also need to sell to invest by June to comply with PSR rules. So a 50 million offer for their academy product would see their finances boom, so they could be interested in that. I'm just very shocked that they would even consider that though, but look at that, the restraints of FFP, and maybe because Unai Emery and the side he's got going on there, it wouldn't be a massive hit, but Tottenham are linked to him, Bayern Munich linked to him, and The Athletic, David Ornstein, who's probably the most credible journalist out there for me, whatever he says is normally true. Him and, your Fabrizio Romanos are 95% of the time correct, so there's got to be something in this, unless you believe Eddie Howe instead, which, right, we love Eddie Howe. Well, I'll speak on my behalf and you can let us know in the comments. I love Eddie Howe. I trust the process, but I don't trust the press conferences. Because why? He's media trained. He's not going to come out and go, Ramsey, yeah, we love him, put a 40 million bid in, got rejected. They want 50. He may be on his way up the Toon later on, or he booked him the Hilton. He's not going to say that, is he? So these people who said, oh, Eddie Howe said it's incorrect, because Keith Down, this is the clip here, I'll play it because it's very good, to be fair, it's a good laugh. Yeah, you just go.
The club have made an approach to Aston Villa, Jacob Ramsey. Anything you could tell us on that?
That's incorrect.
Okay. Matt Targett, is there a potential that he could potentially go out on loan?
No, incorrect. Matt's
well
injured.
Today.
No, you're way off. Matt's injured.
That was Eddie Howe's response there to Keith, saying that it is incorrect that Newcastle have made an approach for Ramsey. Bear in mind, this time last year, he was also saying the same things about Anthony Gordon, who then signed a day later for £45 million. So just bear that in mind. He's media trained. You can't come out in press conference and just blurt out what you want to say about a player and say, yeah, really interested, got him on the phone now. Hopefully by the time I'm finished this question, he's on his way. You know what I mean? They can't say these things. So bear in mind, he's going to say that, even though he very bluntly said incorrect. So I don't know, maybe we did make that approach, and maybe Villa said 50 million and we backtracked immediately and thought, we cannot afford that. That's not happening. So, Ramsey, I'd be shocked if we get that one done. I'd be buzzing, but I'd be shocked. But there's reports saying, Villa have to make way. We'll obviously have to sell Almiron to raise the funds for that, but it'd be an interesting one, and it's one of them ones that comes out of nowhere. But in my opinion, again, humble opinion, I just think that a move for a midfielder will happen. I'm not sure it'll be Ramsey. I still think, as I've said for a while now, that we will try and sign Onana from Everton in the closing stages of this window. I think it's very much like the Gordon one last year, where we can swoosh in on Everton's problems, their financial troubles, their point seductions, get Onana for around 30, 40 million, maybe even get it where we do a loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season, flat out, if he has 45 million in the summer, something like that. That's the one I think we could go for. If that fails, I could see us trying to pursue Philip Billing, who obviously Eddie Howe signed back then, and he is a big fan of him. That one would be a bit underwhelming for me, to be honest with you, but at the minute, with Joe Linton's injury, it could be all we can do. We can't get like an Edison from Atlanta over in Serie A, so I'll be absolutely shocked and quite devastated if we don't sign a midfielder this window, because when you look at that midfield, and it has to be Bruno, Miley and Longstaff starting, no other options until Willock comes back, when God knows when that'll be. Do you know what I mean? That could be, and then he comes back and gets injured again, like he's done a couple of times. We can't bank on the return of Joe Willock, and even if you were, that is still only 4 midfielders until Anderson comes back from a serious injury, which again, needs time to be bedded in. Eddie Howe also said today about Miley, he doesn't want to have to keep picking Miley week in, week out. He thinks at his age, the load of games he's playing is too much. He says there's too much on him as a 17-year-old, and he'd love to be able to give him a rest and not have to rely on him every single week. That's obviously been sent forward to the owners. They know that, and they know how wants and craves a new midfielder in the last week of this window, last few days, Thursday the deadline. So that's got to happen, and that's why I'll be so shocked if we don't sign a midfielder. Even if it is someone like a Billing or somewhere where you have to get someone on loan, you just have to make something. We'll have to get a body through the door. We'll have to seriously get somebody, anybody through the door at this point. I don't want to say anybody, Mike Ashley style, but at the minute, we're kind of at that point. And Eddie Howe also mentioned Bruno Guimaraes's yellow card suspension. You know, he's one booking away from missing 2 games. He's on his 9th yellow card, and he's bound to get that in Villa again Tuesday night. So then he's going to miss the next 2 games. So, you know, it's got to be, seriously, can it end this window without a midfielder? So I'll be very surprised if we do. Let's quickly talk about that Villa game on Tuesday night. I'll probably do more of a preview as the days go on there tomorrow night. So I'll probably do a video again tonight and tomorrow morning, depending on any breaking news regarding transfers to do. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you're notified. But just a quick one on Villa tomorrow night. Really tough game, another away game. Be nice to get an away win in the Premier League. In my match reaction after Fulham in the FA Cup, I was thinking it was the Premier League because we played the Premier League side. I was like, oh, we'll finally win an away game since Sheffield United. Obviously forgetting that we smashed the Macnams and Man U in the Carabao Cup, which I was at as well, which was brilliant. But in the league is where it needs to change, that away form, isn't it? But Villa Park, one of the toughest places to go. They're having an unreal season. Ramsey bound to score, but I don't know. It's going to be really tricky, really is. And we need to see a bit of a better performance than Saturday because result is all that matters in the Cup. We got the job done, got through. But at the same time, it wasn't a great showing. Eddie Howe admitted that as well. So if we can get that better on Tuesday, saying that, give me a scrappy draw now, and I'll take it and move on to the home game. My God, I wish we would have gone back that first day of the season. 5-1 against Villa. Tonali scoring, Barnes scoring. Oh. Speaking of Barnes, he's getting close. He could be back very soon. Not for Villa, but hopefully for the weekend, maybe, against Luton at home. The same with Wilson. We could see Barnes and Callum back for Saturday. Willock and Anderson are a little bit further behind them. I think that'll do it, to be honest, because this video has been on for quite a while already. And the way these transfer moves are shifting so fastly in the remaining couple of days, we could be back sooner before we know it with another upload. So drop your comments below, people. Subscribe to the channel, give this one a like, and I'll see you on the next one.